Joe Boy, the EGM, right? Educated Grease Monkey. I'm on my way to the gym, and I figured I'd shoot you guys some shit. I want to talk to you guys about adding power to your cars, because I got a friend of mine, which hopefully he'll let me feature his ride soon, and he just put an insane amount of money into a Dodge, what is it, Charger? No, the Challenger, the SRT8, and it's pushing some serious power now. But he spent an insane amount of money into the engine, and he didn't do any of the labor, so he really spent a lot of money. He had to spend money on labor and everything, and he just got it back. He drove it, and he was actually pretty disappointed because he put over 600 horsepower to the wheels, and the torque numbers are up there too, but he says his car feels slow. So I went for a ride with him, and I was like, well, let's see why it feels slow. You shouldn't be slow with these numbers. And it's just simple. He spent an insane amount of money on the engine. It's a factory clutch, not even factory tires, worse than factory tires, because there's some like Chinese brand tire that no one's even heard of, so you know that, you know, it's a shitty tire. It's got no traction. Factory wheels, factory suspension, factory clutch, everything with 600 plus horsepower. I mean, the car sounds ridiculous, and when it decides to go, oh boy, does it go. And it books, but it brakes, it loses traction every time it hits around 3,000, 4,000 RPM. It's got a Paxton supercharger on it. Every time it gets around 3,000, 4,000 RPM, it just slingshots to the red line, and he loses traction. And that's why it feels like it's not going anywhere. So it kind of like brings me to this point. When you're building a car, you can't just, you know, spend 20 stacks on a supercharger or turbo and just go all nuts on the engine and forget about the rest of the car. You can have 1,000 horsepower. If you have factory tires, you're not gonna move. The tires is what gets all that power to the ground. And not just the tires. The tires play an important role in it, but everything else along the line. If your transmission is too weak, but differential and tires can hold the power, your transmission will blow. If it's the differential that's weak and everything else you built up, then the differential will blow. The power needs to be thought of not only in the engine, where everybody thinks of, but everywhere else along the line, so that you can actually get that power to the floor. This is also why when you do a dyno run, the wheel horsepower is so much more important than the actual base horsepower, because what's coming out of the engine doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get to the ground. Okay? If your wheels are spinning and there's smoke coming out, you're not moving. You're just making a nice show, and mind you, it looks cool, but you're not actually going fast, which ultimately is the goal when you're spending all this money in either parts or both parts and labor to put all this power into your engine. So, you know, do your research. If your car has factory 200 horsepower and you're gonna put, you know, X, Y, and Z into the engine to get it up to 500 horsepower, then you should also consider, hey, will my transmission hold this power? Is my clutch gonna slip if I have a clutch? Is my torque converter gonna be able to handle this type of power if it's an automatic transmission? My tires, am I just gonna spin them? Will my suspension hold it up? Should I get a tighter suspension to help me get traction? All these things, I mean, these are things you should take into account. If not, you're gonna really waste your money, and you're gonna feel rather disappointed when you get your car back. And I mean, I feel bad for my friend, because in reality, he spent a lot of money, and he did it for, you know, for him and for his old man, and that's a long story. But you know, he wanted to get it back and ready to go. You know, luckily he has someone like me to kind of break it through his head and be like, hey buddy, you need to do more. So sure enough, he went and he bought some parts, and he's starting to put them in. He's taking his transmission to get done. He's getting new tires. He's looking for new wheels and all that stuff. The first thing he did was change the suspension, and he felt the difference right away. And he's still on those very crappy tires. And right there, he was like, dude, what a difference. So you know, his first initial response when he got the car back was, I need more power. I need to send it back to get more power. But I told him, man, it's not the power. You just need to get the power you have to the ground. And now that he's listening, he's starting to see that, and he's getting excited like a little kid. So that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys, is there's more to a car than just putting power into the engine. There's more to it. And that's why building a cars can be money pits. But hey, if you're into it, you're not really thinking about it like that, right? That's all I got for you today. Remember, when you're building a car, don't forget about the rest of the car. Get the power you already have to the ground. That's it. Till next time, guys. Laters.